The following episode of We Making It is part of a mini-series highlighting the body business stories of dance artist professionals who are creative partners in the Sydnie L. Mosley Dances collective. SLM Dances is a New York City-based dance theater collective that works in communities to organize for gender and racial justice through experimental dance performance. This fall, SLM Dances is fundraising, yes, fundraising, to build our collective power and continue to make this work possible. Hashtag we making it. In these body business stories, we speak candidly about our budgets and bank accounts while sustaining a commitment to impacting our communities with our gifts as artists. Please visit SLM Dance's website to learn more about how you can play a part in reaching our fundraising goal of $10,000 by December 31st, 2019. Again, that's SLMDANCES.com. You want to know what else you can do? Well, let me tell you. Share this episode using the hashtag SLMDBodyBiz, that's biz with a Z, 10K, and help us share our body business stories with your community. Now, let's get back to the show. Young artists, go to these expensive ass schools. We're not going to make much progress. I didn't even get into the last part. But anyway.
Struggling away, juggling the days. You know we got it made. When we making it, we making it, we making it, we making it.
And welcome back to another episode of We Making It. Ooh, this is a weekly conversation with New York-based artists about what they are making and how they are maintaining adequate water levels in the process, because we cannot be out here thirsty. I drank some water this morning. And so what am I reading? Super shout out to Kelsey B. Girl Pyro. I actually want to lift up Red at the Bone by Jacqueline Woodson. I did not read that last night, but I read it really recently, and I purchased a copy for her because I like to give my guest books as just a thank you for spending time with me. But Jacqueline Woodson's Red at the Bone is a phenomenal book. I saw myself reflected in every page. Jacqueline Woodson, you did an amazing job of creating such layered characters that were just all of the multitudes that I hope to be, but also aren't always seen. And so that was a great book. Please go out and get it. And if you need resources for the book, let me know. I got some extra resources. What happened last night? I went to a poetry community event through Greenlight at the Fort Greene location. I want to say her name is April. Last name starts with a B. She did an amazing job with her poetry. It reminded me, like, dang, poetry's pretty cool. I don't read it a lot, but I guess I could. We are continuing the money series in partnership with SLM Dances. What are dancers making? How are we making it happen? Literally, numbers and all. And to help continue this conversation, I have a special guest. Special guest, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, I'm Angelica. Very happy to be here.
Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Katie.
Are you reading anything?
Yes, I'm reading. I forgot what the book is called, but it's like Revolution, Puerto Rico,
Okay.
Nelson A. It's about the history of Puerto Rico.
Okay.
And how the U.S. has treated Puerto Rico as a colony, and
Wow.
all of that really not talked about history that is super important
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get right into it. Angelica, usually on all my episodes, I say, what are you making? But for this money series, I need to know, how are you making this life happen?
Mm-hmm. All right. So, right now I work at Trader Joe's.
Shout out
Soho.
to Trader Joe's.
Right, I know. In Spring Street.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to SLM, I was full-time, and now I'm happy to say I'm basically part-time.
Okay.
I work 3 to 4 shifts per week. I make $17.50 an hour. I can pick up extra shifts if I need to.
Yeah.
Also, SLM is part of my income. Sometimes I pick up catering shifts. What else? Just doing all the things.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get right into it. So what are your monthly expenses on average per month?
All right. I know I need an unlimited MetroCard. I'm sorry, but I hate going back and forth and,
You're the first person that says you need an unlimited MetroCard. I am not, no shame. Look, you do what you got to do. But you're the first person that started with travel. So I'm like, thank you for starting with travel. Okay, so an unlimited MetroCard is how much these days?
Like $127, but because like Trader Joe's is one of those bribe you with benefits job.
Yeah, I'm here for come on with the benefits. What benefit they give us?
So WageWorks, it's like, I don't know how it exactly works, but it's like pre-tax. So I save money by ordering a MetroCard through WageWorks.
Okay. So how much does it come out for you?
I don't know. I like probably like 100, still 100 something, but like probably a little less at the end of the year.
Okay.
I actually have to ask about how that.
So we'll say like
works.
it's 120 instead of 127.
Yeah, something like that.
$7 add up. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I only say that I need an unlimited MetroCard because I really enjoy the freedom of like taking the subway whenever I want to. And also that's what I need. That's how I get around the city.
Right. And you live in Brooklyn.
I live in Brooklyn.
And you work in Soho.
I work in Soho and then, going to SLM Dances meetings.
We could have rehearsals all the way in Bad, which is in the Bronx. And then you have to go to work in Soho. And then you have to come home to go to Brooklyn. That's 3 trips.
Yeah.
It makes sense. No, I hear you.
There you go.
So we got 120 in terms of travel. Come on now, rent, food, health insurance.
So I live with my grandparents now. Previously to that, I was living with my boyfriend, so I would contribute with the rent. But right now, I don't have to pay anything.
Okay.
And yeah, my grandparents are awesome.
Yeah, come on, grandparents. Yeah. Nana, pop off all the names that you give your grandparents. Yeah. Okay, so no rent, but then food.
Food, literally, that depends on like how stressed I am.
Yo, come on, talk about it.
But with food, I get a discount at Trader Joe's, 10%. But tax, whatever. So really, I have more control over that, and I'm trying to get better.
Yeah.
On how I haven't even really like looked at that.
You, Britt, and Joan, and this lack of looking at the things. We gonna work on it. We're gonna work on that.
I mean, I have looked at it because every time I'm like, damn, am I really that hungry?
Yes, you are. Let me tell you, because if I am, I know you got to be somewhere in the ballpark. Yeah. It's hard out here in these streets. You be hungry, and it's getting cold. Baby, you need more food when it get cold because your body burning stuff just to keep itself warm. So what we going to say? 150, 200 on food?
Yes.
Per month? So we got travel, we got food, health insurance. Do you pay something for that or no?
No, I don't pay for health insurance.
Okay, cool. You on your parents' health insurance?
I was under my parents' health insurance. However, my mom got a new job, so now I was uncovered, and I just applied for Medicaid under Fidelis Medicaid. Cool. So until I have the enough hours at Trader Joe's to apply to their insurance, Medicaid will have to do.
Okay, cool. And Bianca's on Medicaid too, so and I know how common that is. So then, a phone bill?
No.
I know you got a cell phone. Who pay your
cell phone?
Who pay your cell phone bill?
My aunt. She literally was
She's
like,
so sweet. Come on, auntie.
I know. No, I literally was like, okay, because this is what happened. Like, my mom was like, I don't want to pay for your cell phone bill. I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Right.
But can we at least, because I went to T-Mobile, and I was like, how much is for, like, just paying for one line? It was like, for the stuff that I need, like internet, phone, text, it was like $80 for
that's
like one person.
Yeah, that's pretty average.
I was like, wait.
Yeah.
And then so then I like tried to like work it out. I was like, oh, can we do a family plan?
Sure.
And I send you money?
Right.
Because then it's just $40 for me.
Right.
And then like she wasn't willing to do that. So then I went to my aunt and I was like, can we do a family plan? And
sure.
I pay $40. And she was like, yeah, sure. And then like she thought about it. She was like, and I think at the time that's when I was like unemployed.
Right.
And she was like, you know what? It's okay.
That's
I
so
love
sweet.
You. Yeah, because like for me growing up, I had multiple moms.
Right.
So I have my mom,
right,
my grandma,
right.
All the women in the family take care of me.
Right.
So I want to honor that here.
Of course. No, and hey, come on now. We all need an auntie for macaroni and cheese and for cell phone bills. Yes. Honey. Okay, so as of now, your monthly expenses are coming up to what, like $350. We got 150 with, well, hold on, let me do math real quick. We got 120 for your Metro card, and then we got another 100 for groceries. So that's actually 220. If you go ahead and say that you spend 150 on groceries, that's going to be 150 plus 120 is 280. Do you spend? Are there any expenses that we haven't accounted for?
I would say Uber because
girl, where you going?
Going home. Okay, first of all, it depends on the shift. So if I do late shift at my job, like 4 to 10 or something like that.
And you also, it's fair to mention, you do, what's it called? Not shipping, but like stocking.
Yeah, stocking. I do everything, like register. And sometimes, like, just because of the amount of work I do there.
Right.
And then on top of being a dancer and an artist and
right.
doing other things and trying to make it work, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like, literally yesterday, like, the train wasn't, like, crossing over the Queens or, like, some crazy.
Come on
and
now.
it's a Thursday night.
New York City MTA, you already know how it go. It could be Monday morning at 8 a.m. and literally something done caught fire and we ain't got no trains.
I know.
So then, okay, so we looking at about 280 so far, not 350. Just for all the listeners trying to keep up and write down the numbers. Yeah. Okay. So in terms of an Uber bill, what do you think you spend per month?
I would say like 50, 60.
So we're talking about 280. Let's go ahead and round it up to 60. 280 and 6. What's that, like 340?
Yeah.
340
like
or so.
$400.
So we get we got $400.
Yeah.
So are there any other expenses that we didn't talk about? Funds.
Oh, yes, definitely. I love a good cocktail. I'm sorry, don't take me to a dive bar if you want to.
Hey, I ain't, girl. You know, baby, do your thing.
Unfortunately, it's so bad. Like, I love, your average, how much is a cocktail? Like,
baby, 18, 14?
Yeah.
So, okay, your cocktail bill per month is looking like what?
Oh, man, I don't even want to know.
Come on now, you got to give me a number. I'm going to need you, Joan, to really think about this.
All right.
What you want to say, like,
wow,
$100, $150?
Yeah.
So if we take the $400 that you just did plus another $150 on cocktails, you're looking at $550.
Dang, I gotta stop this.
I don't think you gotta stop.
I love a good cocktail, though.
Baby, look, you got one life to live that I know of so far.
Right.
And as soon as we get some more research on another life, we'll talk about it. But as of now, we got one, and I want everybody to be comfortable with the choices that they're making. And I think it's just good to be aware of the choices you're making, especially if we're talking about money. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about $550 a month. Are there any other expenses that we didn't count for?
I would say yes. Menstrual pads, tampons.
Okay, so like toiletries.
Toiletries. Okay. But specifically those female hygiene.
Sure.
I would like to talk about that too.
Sure.
I would say as a woman, like, that's something that should be discussed about.
Yeah, like there's a cost, honey. Mm-hmm. They not getting no cheaper, and especially because now I done thought I got bougie, and Honey Pot done came into my life, and they make it at Target, so I ain't got to order online. Honey, I want the mentholated lemon balm pads on my tushy because I feel like I'm sitting on an herbalized throne.
Exactly.
I hear you. I hear you. So we at $550. What you gonna add to the budget? Like 60? No, but not for the month. Like, if we talking about how much you spend on pads, tampons, liners, do you buy birth control?
No. Yeah, okay. Shout out to Nexplanon.
Cool. That's the rod, right?
Yeah, it's like the...
Yeah, it's the rod that goes in your arm. It's like them. Yeah, it's the little thing look like a match.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, per month, how much do you say you spend on pads, liners, tampons? Drugs for cramps.
And also food for...
Yeah,
all that.
But you already got a food budget, so we can't add no more to that.
I know.
Unless you want to.
I mean, yeah, I consider that. Like, okay, I don't know. I would say, man, I like a good $30. And also depends on, like, It's getting real personal here, but it depends on how much you use per month, how much of the product you use per
Right.
month.
Because some days, some months you're heavier and some months you're not.
Yeah.
Fine. We all adults here. It's all
Right.
good.
Okay.
So what is we looking at? $580.
Mm-hmm.
$580. Okay. Any other expenses that I can't think of?
No.
Okay, cool. So you are looking at, you got a monthly expenses of like $580 per month.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any credit card debt or student loan debt?
I have student loan debt.
How much do you pay for that every month? You like bread. I had to go fishing for this information. Usually people come right out and say they student loan payments.
No, right now, because it's like unadjusted thing, it's like, I would say like 200. Yeah.
Okay. So that 580 we just said just went up to 780.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to why do you not, when you think about what you spend every month, do you just block out the student loan payments? Or
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Because I just think it's, I always think like it's such bullshit. Like you tell art students to go to a college or university, and then it's like so expensive to go for a career that really, like, the chances of us paying this back is like, come on.
It's harder. It's definitely harder.
Yeah, it's harder.
Shout out to Kyle Abraham, who I'm a huge fan of. If I'm not mistaken, I read an article where Kyle explained that how he paid his student loan debt was when he got the MacArthur Fellowship. And that was and I think he was like well into adulthood. And I'm so sorry if I'm misquoting that, but I could have swore that's what he said.
Yeah.
But no, I think you are absolutely bringing up a point where you have small liberal arts colleges. Shout out to Jessica Lee in our first episode,
Right.
Which accrued so much debt for a small liberal arts college, a great education, that she now is struggling to have the resources to pay back. Exactly.
That's basically my predicament. But also, I just now remembered, I don't know why I'm just now remembering this, but now that I live with my grandparents, like, I remember they were like fixing the roof of the house.
Right.
They had to take out a big loan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is also when I was just coming back from college and, just communicating to them about my life and me looking for guidance. And out of nowhere, my grandparents kind of sat me down. They were like, listen, tell me how much in full, like, you owe, like, on this certain loan. And I was like, okay, $13K.
Right.
And they were like, okay, we're going to write you a check.
Wow.
And I growing up, I would never expect, not that I wouldn't expect them to help me out from time to time.
Right.
I mean, like, I know they're great people. It's not that I have this expectation, but.
Right. And also I want to just name that greatness is not equated to the resources.
Right.
And you knew that they were loving, but you did not, it sounds like you didn't know that they could write a check for $13K.
Right. I have no idea, honestly, where this money is coming from.
Right.
Maybe it's part of the loan that maybe they need to take out a bigger loan to fix the roof of the house, because that was definitely needed. So maybe they were like, might as well just do this. And then I'm not sure. But just the fact that they were able to help ease that and was huge.
Right.
Just because even though I know my grandparents worked really hard to live in the house that we live in Brooklyn, worked really hard to build up their credit and be, by being frugal and very conscious. I didn't know. First of all, I'm just finding out right now how almost like political my family really is, like just the fact that my grandpa put 4 of his kids, more so daughters, right? My mom, Vanessa, Aunt Lorcy, Uncle Junior,
shout
and
out
me,
to them,
all through college.
Wow.
I just want to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no, that's huge, and it's a great segue to what are some of the identities you hold, and then how do you feel like some of those identities you hold have given you access to the resources that you're naming, because these are big resources.
Right. Yes. Okay. I identify as a woman.
Yes.
I am a woman of color.
Yes.
I was born in Puerto Rico, but raised in New York, so I'm Puerto Rican, native to Brooklyn.
Hey.
my mom's Colombian, but like on the more coastal region, like Cartagenas or Costeños. I know that I have some Indian lineage or heritage because my last name's Mondol. What else? I know my father was Italian, so I have a little bit of that. I guess like in terms of like identity, it's really difficult for me.
Yeah.
Just because, just the way I look, I guess. Like, I guess I would identify myself as Afro-Latina. But even then, I'm like, it's just so difficult. It's like, what am I? I don't know. It's a mix of a lot of things.
You know?
Just know that I'm not white.
Right. But your dad is white.
My dad is white passing, yes.
Okay, cool.
He's Puerto Rican Italian, so he's definitely white passing, but he's also Latino. So
okay.
But my mom is a person of color for sure.
Right.
So it's just really hard. I mean,
well, and I hear you in terms of like the phenotype or the physical way of naming, but I do think, or at least I am asking, now that we've identified woman, Afro-Latina, maybe, definitely Latina, also very much so a woman of color, how do you feel like those identities have played a role in the resources that you've acquired? Like, you know, having a grandfather that's put four people in 2 different generations through college, the amount of training that you've had to even get into the conversation of being able to dance for SLM. How do you feel like those resources have come through those identities?
I mean, honestly, oh man, I feel like so emotional because like how you're asking, how does being whatever I identify help me?
Yeah, what are the resources that came with those identities?
Oh my God, having my amazing grandparents, you know, both my grandfather, my grandma as well. I mean, the fact that she's knowledgeable of how to take care of my hair, like just the home that they provided for me for many years.
And to this day.
To this day, too. What else?
Could you speak on, for example, maybe the jobs that they had that even allowed them to acquire enough wealth so that they could put that many people through school and become homeowners in a growingly expensive city?
Yeah, my grandfather was part of Local 3, union, electrician, journeyman. My grandma, she did social work college in Colombia, but here she got her cosmetology license and had a small business in Brooklyn, hair salon, that ended up closing down for whatever reason. I have no idea why.
Right.
Around the time I was born.
Right. But she's a woman of color that was a business owner.
Yes.
That's huge.
She was a business owner. I didn't even look at it that way. Just because it's like me. It's like mine.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, yeah, she's boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my grandma.
yes.
Yeah, and I just think that they're just really smart about their goals and what they wanted, and it was clear that they were tired of living in Borough Park,
right?
You know, with 4 kids in a cramped apartment, and they were like, "We deserve to get a house."
Right. And can you think of anything in terms of resources that your mom so we got your grandparents and the resources that they were to establish, how your mom's resources or your grandparents' resources allowed you to then train the way you did and like get you to a place to like go to college? Is there anything you can think of that your mom did, or like resources that she had access to in terms of these identities that help you get to where you are financially?
Yes. Well, I just put out there my mom was a single mom.
Right.
So we all lived together in my grandma's house.
Okay.
So the resources she had were her siblings.
Right.
And, you know, I had basically everyone take care of me. Like the fact that my mom, for a part of her life, was going to Pace University, Brooklyn College, and then working full time and then being a mom. She had that kind of I don't even know, like
Hustler's ambition.
Hustler's ambition. I don't know if that's a resource.
It is.
Yes.
You get shit done.
Yeah, and just in terms of like my ballet training, Ballet Tech, New York City Public School for Dance, they audition like 20,000 New York City public schools annually, and they went to my school and my zone where my grandparents lived, and my mom supported me, and she was like, "Oh, you should go audition," you know, and that's how it started.
Yeah. And even support as a resource.
Yeah, no, I just had a lot of support from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then when you think about these identities, woman, Afro-Latina, Latina, woman of color, what have been some barriers that have come with these identities?
I just think, first of all, the wage gap is huge. And then on top of that, if you're a woman of color, it's even less.
But do you feel like you experienced that as an artist or at Trader Joe's, or are you speaking just on like a general
In general, it affects me even as a child because that's the paycheck that my mom was getting.
Right.
That was the paycheck that my grandma was getting.
Right.
My grandfather, like, you know, we're all people of color.
Right.
So that kind of trickled down to how I experienced and lived
Of course.
life. What else? I would say in terms of like ballet, you know, access to like pointe shoes, all these expenses that come with supporting the arts was very difficult.
Right.
What else? I would say hair care. I spend a lot of money on hair products.
Right.
Like, because it has to be sulfate free and has all these jojoba oil and coconut oil and
Jojoba, you
jojoba oil. Shea Moisture canceled.
Yeah. Yes, I know why. Okay, cool.
You get the point.
Okay, and that makes me think too. Something that I feel like I've mentioned in other episodes, because I've done a couple of things. So, like, for people who do not know, I took piano classes in school for free because I went to performing arts middle school, and then I took dance classes for free. They were my PE credit, and I didn't really pay for training until I got to college. And so, and Angelica said her too. And so when I graduated, when I got into college, but also when I graduated from college, I could tell the students who had paid for training because often it was better. And I'm thinking of kids who not only had, you could talk, Angelica.
Okay, I'm like, can I interject you?
Yeah, of course.
I disagree with.
Sure.
No, I also didn't have to pay for training really until college.
Sure.
But when I went to college, I'm sorry, I don't want to toot my own horn, but you know, I wasn't.
Well, and
I felt like I had way better training opportunities.
Well, and I think it's fair to mention that, like, Angelica's from New York City and I'm from Texas.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's it. I'll shut up.
And
now.
it's not. I don't think it's a matter of disagreeing or agreeing because I think everybody's going to access this conversation differently. What I'm thinking of is when I got to college, I'd met kids that had gone to the Graham School for summer intensives. I'd met kids that had gone to the Ailey School for summer intensives. I had met kids that had done studio competitions for years. And even coming to New York City, like you meet kids that have done Bates every summer since they was 13. And they done ADF when they were in high school, and they did ADF when they were in college. It's not to say that free training is bad, but I can tell when kids have had the opportunity to train 6 or 7 hours outside of their day when they're in high school and when they're in middle school.
Right.
Which is something that I did not have access to because keep in mind, I'm only taking classes that are available as a PE credit, which is literally maybe an hour and a half a day every other day. And so I bring that up to say that there is such a thing as like the resources that are available to you, and then how that shapes the conversation, right? Because once you talk about like college, for example, the colleges that you have access to based on the training that your parents could or could not afford is a thing. And I'm always like surprised that does not come up as much as I think it should, because again, it just makes me think about how you enter certain conversations. Like at the gate, certain people are having resources around training that is totally going to shape the choreographic spaces that they can potentially have access to and also even just like know about. So that is that. My last question before we get up out of here. So, oh, wait. Angelica, we forgot to do the breakdown. Honey, let's rewind. So you have $780 in expenses roughly. Let's go ahead and put in a 20 for emergencies and let's go ahead and cap it at $800. You have $800 in expenses. How much do you make? Breaking it down from Trader Joe's, how much you make per month, average?
I would say about 600.
600 a month.
Well, not a month. It's like 2 paychecks.
So 1,200 a month,
right? Yes, and then some extra from catering.
How much on average?
On average, per month. Hold on.
You can tell the people how you doing your math. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Take your time.
I don't know. I'd say a little bit under $2,000.
$2,000.
Yeah.
So you at $3,200 from catering and Trader Joe's. How much you make from SLM?
What was the check that we got?
$1,200 from Trader Joe's. $2,000. Oh, what is the check that we got? I made $300 this month from SLM.
Yes, basically about the same.
So we got $2,000 plus $1,200 is $3,200. $3,200 plus $300 is $3,500. So you making $3,500 and your expenses ain't even $1,000 yet.
No.
So, honey, where the rest of that money going?
In my bank account.
So you have a savings?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't mention that.
Uh-huh.
How much do you have saved? If you feel comfortable asking.
I don't feel like disclosing that.
Sure. And are you saving for a rainy day or a couple of vacations?
I have an emergency fund.
Okay, cool.
Just because I've seen the hardships that some of my family members went through.
Right.
And also because I want to support people. Like, if I have a friend...
Right.
That, like, if I have an emergency.
Right.
You know,
well, because it sounds like you've been helped before.
I've been helped.
So you know what it means.
And that's been a big thing for me.
Right. And so how can you give that resource to other people?
Exactly.
No, that's amazing.
So I think if anyone listens to this podcast, please have an emergency fund. I think it's super important.
Sitting across the table from you, I'm thinking I think the hardest part for me with creating a savings was making more money than my expenses, because of New York rent, because of food, because of paying. I pay a lot less than you in student loans. Paying a credit card bill, which has gotten bigger as I've spent more money. But I want to offer that for those of you who do not have a savings, because I know a couple of people don't. You are in I think it's a great spot to be in when your what you make supersedes your expenses. Like, that is such a I hope that everybody can get there at a certain point. That said, let's play my last and final game, which is going to be a little hard for you because your numbers are big. But we're gonna do it real quick. So let's just say you take away Trader Joe's, you take away catering, and you can only live off SLM. Mm-hmm. That's $300 per month. Mm-hmm. And you got only $300. It's the first, and you got to get to the last of the month. Who you going to call? What you going to do to get your student loan bill paid, your food, your cocktails, or not cocktails, depending on how you figure it out. But, if you only got down to $300, what community, what resources do you have in place that you think could hold you over?
Mm-hmm. First of all, I don't have to even think about rent, which is great.
So yes.
I'm not worried about where I'm sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of where I'm eating, that's where I'm most concerned.
Right.
So if I had 300, right? Mm-hmm. I know that I have my other jobs I need a MetroCard to go to my other jobs, right?
But you ain't going to the other jobs because all you got is $300 for the month.
That's true.
You broke a toe, you broke a fingernail, you broke something that them little 2 jobs you can't have for the rest of the month. Mm-hmm. That's a good. I really like this question.
Yeah.
Can you?
I would say
smile
I would have
real
to.
big at Nana and Pop Up, and they gonna make you some bologna sandwiches, or
No, I think. Well, my first thought is budgeting the $300, right? So depending on how many rehearsals I have at SLM, because I got that check from SLM, I would set aside transportation money, right?
So you would bust the 300 down, get the 120 to go ahead and use that for Metro card.
I wouldn't do unlimited at that point. I would do, I don't know,
like a weekly,
or no, because we have to go through the rest of the month, so it can't be weekly either. It has to be paper ride, so it would be.
But paper ride is more expensive than weekly.
Well, it depends, because the only thing I'm doing is SLM. You know what I'm saying? So
then it's cheaper because you got I see what you're saying.
So then it's like, what? Like, how much is
a paper ride? Is $275.
Jeez.
It costs you $550 to get there and get back. So $550 times 2 days of rehearsal is $11, and $11 times 4 weeks is $44.
Right.
So you'd only have so that's only $44 spent out of your $300.
44, right? So that's like what, about $50 in transportation, right?
So you got $250 left.
$250 left. I would just go grocery shopping, and do like the whole meal plan thing.
Okay.
And then so I would say that's
probably like $150. So that's, you got $150 plus the $50 you spent on transportation is $200. So you got $100.
I would
left.
say groceries is less. I would say $100.
Okay, so $150. You got $150 left. What you gonna do about your student loan payment?
Oh man, yeah, that's when I would have to ask. Isn't there a thing where you have to communicate to them about hardships? So I would communicate to them what's going on, and then depending on the answer that I get from them, I would have to ask. I would have to ask for help. Yeah, but that's the thing. You can even hear it in the way I talk about it. It's so hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's hard for me to ask for help, especially not so much with my mom,
right?
But with my grandparents, that's a big deal for me,
right? Because they've given you so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and this is a make-believe game. This is not, I'm not speaking nobody's.
Oh, man, I'm like, oh, my God, I'm in this predicament.
No. And as I've said in all of the episodes when I talk about this, I think it's a great opportunity to take stock. Take stock of the resources that you have and take stock of the resources that you need. And then in the moments when you have to ask, be that for money, be that for transportation, you know what you have, and your ask can be quite specific. And then I hope that it becomes easier to ask because you are asking from a place of I've done all I can do, and I really need this. And I hope that it changes the conversation around how we as dancers ask for resources, because we have done all that we can do by the time that we're asking, and that's enough, right? In so many episodes, people have talked about running themselves thin and not being super clear about what they even needed to ask for, because they didn't even know how much money they were making, and they didn't even know how much money they were spending. And what I'm hearing from you in this whole budgeting thing is no, I know how to stretch $1, and there are times that I just need a couple more. And so, that's when I'm going to ask. And I think that, I hope for myself is what I hope for myself in that is I can be strong in my ask. Because I know that if I'm asking, I am strong. I am not weak for asking. I am aware that I don't have it. And if I don't ask, I may not get any more help. And also, not for nothing, if somebody can help you, like Auntie with the cell phone bill, sometimes people can't help you if you don't ask.
Right.
And so I say all that to say thank you, because I feel or at least I hope that we all can be inspired to be strong in our asks, because they're just a part of it sometimes.
Right.
So Angelica, where can the people find you?
Oh, wow. They can find me on Facebook, Angelica Mondol Viana.
Hey.
Instagram, Angie from the Block with 2 Ks. And at Sydnie L. Mosley.
Hey. Well, as always, I want you to make it live. I want you to make it breathe. Boy, Angelica, I want y'all to call y'all grandparents because she making me want to call my nana and call my sweetie, which are my grandmothers, respectively. Call your mama too. But as always, y'all know I just want you to make it. Bye, guys. You say bye too.
Adios.
Now a note from SLM Dances. This episode of We Making It is part of a mini-series highlighting the body business stories of Sydnie L. Mosley Dances creative partners. SLM Dances is a New York City-based dance theater collective that works in communities to organize for gender and racial justice through experimental dance performance. In sharing their stories with you, SLM hopes to make plain their needs as dance artists and inspire you and all SLM Dances community members to think and act from a place of abundance, empathy, and urgency. SLM Dances is fundraising to build our power as a collective. Our goal is 10,000 by December 31st, 2019. Please visit SLM Dances website at slmdances.com. That's SLMDANCES.com to join SLM Dances community and become a donor. Keep in touch with SLM Dances fundraising efforts by following us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, all at SLM Dances, and the hashtag SLMD BodyBiz with a Z 10K. Now, let's get back to the show.